The eclipse is not arriving to casually paint the night sky with color. It is coming as a messenger, as an amplifier, as an unshakable force that insists on being noticed. For those who choose to meet it unprepared, it may feel like being swept into a current too strong to fight, a tide that drags you deeper than you ever intended to go. But for those who step forward with awareness, it is the very current that can carry them faster, further, and higher than months or even years of ordinary effort. Think of it not as a disruption, but as an acceleration. This event is not here to work against you. It is here to open the cracks where your growth has been waiting, unseen, beneath the surface. The eclipse rattles, it shakes, it tests, yes, but not with the intention to break you down. Its true purpose is to break you open, to expose the layers you've hidden, to reveal the doorway you didn't know you were standing before. Most people will look up at the blood moon and see only a spectacle. They will snap photos, post them online, and then forget. But you, if you are here, if you feel the quiet tension humming in your chest as the shadow creeps across the moon, you already sense it. You are not one of the casual spectators. You are one of the few being asked to step into alignment with it. When the eclipse locks onto your energy, there is no middle ground. Either you harness its momentum, or you allow it to harness you. And make no mistake, once its grip closes around you, the pull is undeniable. It becomes the storm wind that drives you. Whether you guide it, or whether you are tossed by it, depends only on your choice of awareness. This is why the blood moon is not simply another night sky event. It is a divine catalyst. It is the burning match pressed against the edge of your spirit, daring you to ignite. Those who treat it as nothing more than scenery will remain unchanged. Those who treat it as an invitation will walk away forever altered. You stand at the threshold of something greater than a celestial shadow. You stand before a rare alignment that magnifies destiny itself. And the first step to preparing is not fear, not resistance, but recognition. To whisper within yourself, "This is not an enemy. This is my acceleration. This is my moment." The eclipse has already been declared an accelerator, but its power runs deeper than momentum alone. It awakens a voice that too often you silence, your intuition. During this rare alignment, the veil between the seen and the unseen thins, and sudden flashes of insight arrive like sparks in the darkness. These are not coincidences. They are whisper from the part of you that has always known what lies ahead, even when your logical mind doubts it. This is why prophecy and foresight are forever linked to blood moons. For centuries, cultures have regarded these nights as gateways to vision, times when the inner eye opens and truth rushes forward, unfiltered. But here lies the test. Will you dismiss the wild flicker of thought that arises? Or will you honor it? The first image, the first phrase, the first improbable dream that flashes across your awareness is the seed the eclipse hands you. If you ignore it, it dissolves back into the shadows. If you capture it, it becomes anchored into your reality. Do not play safe here. Write down the idea that startles you, the outcome that feels too outrageous to ever be possible. The eclipse is not moved by caution. It responds to boldness. By marking these sudden intuitions on paper, you drag them from the invisible into the visible. You give them weight. You give them form. This act, simple yet sacred, is the very ritual that ancient seers practiced when the skies darkened. They knew that the eclipse was not only bending light, but also bending destiny. Think back to how many times you felt a gut pull, a quiet warning, or a shimmering sense of possibility that you later ignored. And how often did it come true anyway? Tonight, you will not brush it aside. Tonight, you will write it, speak it, claim it. Because prophecy is not predicting the future. It is recognizing it before anyone else dares to. And this eclipse, if you let it, will make that recognition unshakable. If prophecy is the gift the eclipse places in your hands, then shadow is the price it demands you confront. For this night does not only illuminate visions, it also drags into focus the hidden corners of yourself that you have long kept silent. The blood moon does not respond to the polished mask you wear. It answers only to the raw truth beneath it, the parts you hope no one notices. And if you refuse to face them, they will rule you from the dark. But here lies the divine strategy. When you call your fears out loud, you strip them of their secret power. Whisper them into the quiet of your room. Speak them into the mirror, or let your voice break in the night air. It does not matter how, only that you drag them from silence into sound. A fear unspoken is a chain. A fear spoken becomes only air. Consider the weight of the thoughts you never confess. I am not enough. No one really sees me. I will fail before I even begin. These are the silent scripts that loop through your mind, writing your life in invisible ink. But under this eclipse, silence is your greatest enemy. The moment you give those fears a name, you break the pact they hold over you. This is not weakness. It is warfare. By exposing the enemy, you rob it of its surprise. At first, speaking your shadow aloud may sting. It may feel raw, embarrassing, even ridiculous. Yet, as the sound leaves your body, something begins to shift. You realize the thought is not prophecy, only echo, not a sentence, only smoke. And as the moon itself passes into shadow, you immunize yourself against being consumed by your own. For when the darkness lifts, what remains is calm, not because you were fearless, but because you proved that fear no longer commands you. Once the shadow has been spoken and released, a doorway opens. The eclipse does not simply strip away, it also reveals what waits beyond. This is the moment to cast your eyes forward, not outward to the sky, but inward to the version of yourself who steps out once the darkness is past. You are not only confronting who you are shaping who you are about to become. Close your eyes and see it clearly, not vague outlines or hazy dreams, but vivid, living detail. Who are you after this eclipse? How do you stand? How do you breathe? What radiates from you? Do you move with courage you once doubted? Do you speak with clarity that silences the noise around you? Do you walk through chaos untouched? Because you carry a center that cannot be shaken. The mind does not catalog this as fantasy. It stores it as instruction. It begins weaving your choices to align with what you see. This is why athletes envision victory before they step onto the field. Why ancient traditions painted symbols and images in ritual? They knew imagination is not idle play. It is a sacred tool. Under the eclipse, it becomes amplified, charged with momentum. The picture you create now is a seed placed into the soil of your destiny. Do not settle for small sketches. Give it color, texture, weight. See yourself not only thriving, but embodying the qualities you most crave: freedom, confidence, resilience, joy. The more specific your vision, the stronger the energy that fuses with it. And when the eclipse shadow lifts, you will already be walking toward the image you imprinted. This is no mere daydream. This is aligning your spirit with the rhythm of the cosmos. Once you see who you are beyond the shadow, you cannot return unchanged. You have envisioned the self who rises beyond the shadow, but now comes the challenge of holding steady as the eclipse energy intensifies. The night ahead will feel crowded with rituals, advice, and noise. Too many voices will tell you what to release, what to call in, what to guard against. Yet the true power lies not in adding more layers of complexity, but in choosing one clear thread to follow. That thread is your word. Your word is not decoration. It is not chosen at random. It is a spell, a compass, a tether that keeps you rooted no matter how wild the currents of this night become. The eclipse does not bend to endless affirmations. It bends to focus. One word, repeated with intent, will echo louder than 1,000 scattered chants. How do you know you have found it? It usually stirs a shiver, a mix of fear and recognition. Perhaps your word is boldness, daring you to step where you've always hesitated. Perhaps it is clarity, cutting through the fog that has blurred your decisions. Perhaps it is trust, reminding you to release the grip of control. Whatever it is, the right word always carries electricity, because it points to the very energy you've been avoiding. Once chosen, this word becomes your shield and your anchor. Whisper it when doubt rises, when the weight of the eclipse presses against your chest, when fear tempts you to collapse inward. Write it on a slip of paper and carry it with you. Carve it into a candle and let it burn. Speak it into water before you drink. Every time you repeat it, you are weaving it deeper into your being, until it shapes your thoughts without effort. When the shadow moves across the moon, you will feel the test. Chaos will stir. Emotions will spike. This is when your word will prove itself. Hold it. Repeat it. Let it guide you like a star through the storm. For under the blood moon, one true word is enough to redirect the course of your path. Your word steadies you in the storm. But the eclipse does not ask you to walk only in shadow. It also asks you to notice the sparks that already burn within you. Too often, people enter these nights consumed with what must be released, with what is broken or heavy. But if you give all your focus to what is leaving, you forget to honor what is thriving. The eclipse amplifies whatever you place in its path. So, tonight, it is not enough to shed burdens. You must also magnify your victories. Do not measure your wins by the world's scale. Look instead at the quiet triumphs, the subtle shifts, the private moments no one else may ever see. Did you trust your intuition and walk away from a situation that felt wrong? That is a win. Did you rest when exhaustion begged you to push harder? That is a win. Did you finally speak your truth, even if your voice trembled? That too is a win. Even laughter in a moment you thought you could not smile counts as one of the greatest victories of all. These are not small. They are proof that momentum is already moving through you. And when you name them, when you speak them into air or write them onto the page, you invite the universe to multiply them. Energy expands wherever attention flows. Notice only problems, and you will be flooded with more. Notice your hidden victories, and they will bloom like embers catching fire. The eclipse thrives on the unexpected, and so your strangest, most overlooked wins are often the ones it loves most. The tiny decision you thought did not matter, the quiet discipline you kept to yourself. These are sparks waiting to ignite under the blood moon. Honor them aloud, toast to them. Whisper them into the night, because every triumph you celebrate tonight becomes a seed for tomorrow's harvest. You are not starting at zero. You are already in motion, already carrying proof that transformation is happening. The eclipse does not reset you to nothing. It magnifies the path you have been quietly building all along. Honoring your victories lifts you higher. But the eclipse also demands that you release what drags you down. For every spark you amplify, there may still be embers of resentment, guilt, or regret smoldering within. These weights do not vanish under an eclipse. They multiply. Lunar shadows act like mirrors reflecting back magnified versions of the pain you've avoided. This is why forgiveness is not luxury tonight. It is survival. Think of the wound that still lingers, the face that stirs anger when remembered, the mistake that replays in your mind, the apology you longed for but never received. These are not passive memories. They are chains, keeping you tethered to a past that no longer deserves to hold you. When the eclipse rises, those chains will tighten unless you set them down. Forgiveness does not mean declaring what happened was acceptable. It means declaring that you will no longer carry the weight. You are not excusing them. You are releasing yourself. The act is not for their freedom. It is for yours. And it begins as a choice. Often before the feeling arrives, say it aloud. I release this. I forgive. I will not carry it into the shadow. The words may feel foreign at first, but intention precedes emotion, and the body will follow where the spirit leads. Make it physical if you must. Write the name or memory on paper and burn it in flame. Bury it in the earth. Let water dissolve it. Rituals exist because the body craves symbols of release. When you destroy the object, you mark the end of its hold. And in that act, you cut the leash that ties you to pain. Do not forget, forgiveness is not only for others. The heaviest chains are often forged from your own guilt. Perhaps you trusted too quickly, stayed too long, missed signs you wish you had seen. Tonight, you must release yourself as well. Look into the mirror and whisper, I forgive you. For until you unbind your own hands, no eclipse, no ritual, no cosmic alignment can set you free. And when you finally do, what remains is lightness, not because the past disappeared, but because it no longer owns you. Releasing resentment clears space in your spirit, but what fills that space is equally important. This is where the eclipse turns its gaze inward, toward the deepest beliefs you carry about yourself. For while grudges weigh down the heart, it is the quiet lies you repeat that cage your future. These limiting beliefs, whispered so often they feel permanent, are nothing but illusions waiting to be shattered. Perhaps the voice inside says, I am unlucky. I will never be enough. My voice doesn't matter. I am destined to fail. These are not truths. They are choices your mind has rehearsed until they masquerade as fact. And under ordinary skies, you might continue carrying them unchecked. But under an eclipse, such illusions cannot withstand the light of exposure. The blood moon does not tolerate falsehoods. It burns them away if you are brave enough to name them. So tonight, before the shadow crosses the moon, write it down. Name the belief that has haunted you longest. Let it stand naked on the page, no longer hidden in the background of your thoughts. And once it is revealed, replace it. Speak the counter-truth with conviction. I am the one opportunity finds. My voice shifts the energy in any room. I am already walking free of the cage. Do not soften these replacements. Make them bold, fierce, undeniable. For they are not lies. They are the truths your spirit has been waiting to claim. Understand this. The eclipse resets the rhythm of your inner world. What you plant now in your mind does not echo for a night. It threads itself into weeks, months, even years ahead. The belief you erase is gone for good. The new belief you crown yourself with becomes the lens through which you view everything that follows. Change your belief, and you rewrite the future it would have created. This is your chance to let the eclipse burn away the false sentences that have kept you small. Choose the one you fear to admit aloud, and let it dissolve. Then step into the night carrying the truer, bolder thought. For when the shadow lifts, you will never see yourself or the world the same way again. With old beliefs burned away, you stand renewed. but the eclipse will still test where your energy flows. Words are currents, and too often they are wasted on complaints. Every sigh about traffic, every muttered frustration, every casual grievance is more than noise. It is a declaration to the universe. This is the reality I accept. Under normal nights, those words already drain you. Under an eclipse, they multiply, anchoring you to the very world you are trying to escape. This is why tonight you must vow no complaints, not whispered, not shouted, not even disguised as jokes. It may sound simple, but it is a sacred challenge. For when you stop feeding negativity with your breath, you reclaim the power that leaks through every careless word. Complaining is not harmless. It convinces your mind to expect more of the same. It blocks synchronicities. It clouds the very clarity you seek. Refusing it creates space, and into that silence, wonder and gratitude can finally enter. Catch yourself in the moment the words rise to your lips. Notice how reflexive it is, how tempting. Then pause, smile at the impulse, and choose something else. In that instant, your awareness is rewired. You are forced to search for a new language, one that bends toward appreciation, curiosity, or even quiet stillness. And each time you resist the old reflex, you strengthen a new reality. The eclipse amplifies everything it touches. If you offer it complaints, it magnifies dissatisfaction. But if you offer it silence, gratitude, or awe, it magnifies those instead. The test is not when everything is calm. It is when pressure mounts, when emotions spike, when chaos swirls. In that moment, hold your vow. Refuse to hand over your breath to negativity. By the time the shadow lifts, you will feel the difference. A strange lightness, a clarity not because the world changed, but because you stopped feeding the version of it you did not want. The eclipse will magnify only what you choose. Tonight, let it magnify the reality you are ready to walk into. Silencing complaints frees your words, but the eclipse also asks for something deeper: the courage to disrupt the patterns that silently drain your life. Every one of us carries a habit we know keeps us tethered, a loop we return to again and again, even while sensing it is the very chain that holds us back. It may not be dramatic. It may be as simple as the endless scrolling that numbs you, the quiet voice of self-criticism that poisons every thought, or the comfort you reach for when silence feels unbearable. But make no mistake, these cycles are spells you have cast upon yourself. The eclipse does not wait for you to change everything overnight. It does not demand perfection. What it offers is a fracture point, a moment to interrupt the rhythm and declare, "Not this time." The instant you do, the energy of the eclipse meets you halfway. It locks in your disruption, carving the break into stone, so the cycle cannot close as easily again. This is why eclipses are feared and revered in equal measure. They magnify whatever rhythm you choose to hold. If you cling to your destructive habit, the shadow will etch it deeper. If you disrupt it, even once, the shadow will bury it and leave space for something new. The choice is yours. Name your habit. Do not soften it. Do not excuse it. Bring it into the light, then act. If your reflex is scrolling before bed, place the phone out of reach. If your weakness is self-criticism, write down the cruel words and burn them. If your numbing escape is a toxic indulgence, replace it tonight with something your future self would bless you for. Small shifts matter, for under this moon, they echo louder than you realize. The eclipse is not merely a spectacle. It is a reset point. Tonight, you decide which spells survive. Break the one that binds you. For when the shadow lifts, the chains you disrupted will not reform, and in their absence, a new path begins to grow. Breaking old habits creates space for rebirth. But there is one more lesson the eclipse presses upon you: the balance between shaping your path and surrendering to the unknown. Too often, seekers prepare with fierce intention, carving rituals, vows, and visions with meticulous care. And while this shaping is powerful, the danger lies in gripping so tightly that you leave no room for the greater design. The eclipse honors your aim, but it will shatter any demand for control. Think of your preparation as an archer drawing the bow. You have chosen your word, honored your victories, forgiven, erased lies, silenced complaints, and broken cycles. These were the ways you crafted your arrow, sharpening its point, steadying its flight. But even the archer knows, once the arrow is loosed, the wind decides where it will land. To demand control over the gusts is to miss the miracle of what they might carry you toward. The rituals you have done matter. The visions you painted matter. They shape the direction of your life. But after you have aimed, you must release. You must trust that the blood moon has currents wider and wilder than anything your present mind can imagine. If you cling only to what you scripted, you will confine yourself to the borders of your own limitations. If you let go, you invite outcomes larger than your vision, gifts you could not have predicted. So, as the shadow deepens and begins to pass, remember this: you have already done your part. You have spoken the shadow, envisioned your future, chosen your word, honored your wins, forgiven, erased, silenced, disrupted. You have aimed the arrow. Now let the eclipse carry it. The destination may not look exactly like what you wrote, but it may be even greater. This is the paradox of true power. You shape, and then you surrender. You guide, and then you trust. For destiny is not forced into your mold. It is magnified through your willingness to release control. And under the blood moon, the release is the final act that transforms everything. The arrow has been loosed, and the wind now carries it into realms unseen. As the eclipse shadow begins to lift, you stand not as the same person who first looked to the sky, but as one who has walked through fire, silence, and revelation. You have named your fears, envisioned your future, chosen your word, celebrated your victories, forgiven your burdens, shattered false beliefs, silenced complaints, disrupted destructive cycles, and surrendered control. These were not empty steps. They were keys unlocking doors within you that had long waited for this moment. Now comes the stillness after the storm. Do not mistake this quiet for emptiness. It is the pause in which destiny reshapes itself around you. The work you have done tonight will echo, not only for hours but for weeks, months, and perhaps even years. For eclipses are not one-night wonders. They are accelerators of fate, weaving threads into the fabric of your path that will continue to reveal themselves long after the moon has returned to its glow. Remember, this journey was never about perfection. It was about awareness. The eclipse did not demand that you fix everything. It asked only that you be awake, present, willing to meet its shadow with honesty and its light with courage. And by doing so, you have stepped into a rhythm larger than your own heartbeat, aligned with forces that move oceans, pull tides, and bend the patterns of time itself. Carry this awareness forward. Keep your word alive in your breath. Keep your victories close in your memory. Keep forgiveness as your shield, and keep surrender as your final vow. The eclipse has marked you, not with fear, but with momentum. And as you move into the days ahead, you will notice the world bending subtly in your favor, opportunities rising where there were none, clarity sharpening in places once blurred. So lift your gaze one last time to the sky. The shadow passes, the light returns, and with it, So do you, brighter, steadier, unshakable. This eclipse was not an ending. It was the ignition of your becoming.